In nomine di nostri Satanae Luciferi excelsi. In nomine Spiritus Domini Mundi est, Luciferi. In domus di ordem et ausium. In nomine Ordo Novus Seclorum in nomine Satanae. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It is your favorite dark sorcerer, Angelus. And today, I'm going to answer some questions that have been popping up on both Facebook and YouTube amongst my accounts. One of the biggest things that keep coming up, and it's not just on my account, or accounts, I should say. It's something that pops up on a lot of Black magicians' posts. Doesn't matter if it's Frank White, doesn't matter if it's E.A. Koetting, Espen Cayenne, myself, or even others, such as D.H. Thorne, Carrie Darkstar, perhaps even Guy Creasy. There's a lot of Black magicians out there that have a lot of things that they've shown, not only in videos and rituals, like, say, for example, Joseph Nunn, also known as Behemoth X. Now, this brother, I have to admit, is unbelievable. His rituals, his altar room, spectacular. Personally, I don't think anybody comes close to his rituals. His altar setup. It's that extravagant. Okay? That beautiful. Then you got S. Connolly. I've never seen any of her rituals, but I can tell you that just from her books alone, she knows her stuff. I've experimented with oleums, with oils and brews, not just by them, not just by her, or by E.A. Koetting, but by numerous different sources. And yet, everywhere I seem to turn, the question remains: how do you keep your incense going for so long? How do you get that much smoke? Some of us have even put out our own videos telling you how to do something like this. And you don't pay attention. You don't learn. You just keep asking the same question over and over again without growing, without learning. So here it is. And this is something that I've been aware of for a little while. But most importantly, my own special blend. There is herbs. There are techniques such as alchemy. Alchemy, people. Okay? And I'm going to say this again. Alchemy. To where you take substances and you blend them together. For an example, you can take herbs and spices. You take, for an example, sulfur. You take white sage. Okay? White sage and sulfur. Just two combinations right there. Just those two items alone can put off quite a bit of smoke, especially when they're burning. But let's say, for an example, you want to put in a little bit of, let's say, for an example, ricin. Ricin type, little beans. This allows the heat to build up. It's a conductor, an energy amplifier, if you wish. You can also use charcoal. Charcoal burns hot, but at the same time puts off a lot of smoke and a lot of steam. You can combine these two items, these few items, to make something more. Even, say, for an example, red sandal powder or sandalwood, dragon's blood powder, black sand. You can utilize, let's go with Mir crystals. Mir crystal. It's basically a small little rock. It's a bunch of rocks that have been broken down into almost like a crystallized stone. You mix all these together, and it's like a conductor bringing that current right through your burn pot. Or you can do the simple way and just go to Walmart and pick up, say, let's say, for an example, dragon's blood, charcoal incense. Put 4 of those cubes, just 4 of those cubes, into your little phallus after lighting them. Let them burn down a quarter to half away, and then put the cover over it. You'd be surprised how much energy builds up within them. You could add things, sprinkling sulfur over a candle flame. You get that aroma, you get that relaxation going. You put yourself into that frame of mind. All of this plays into effect. Think about it for an example. You go off with a woman. What is it about that woman that attracts you? Or better yet, if you're a woman going with a guy, what is it about that guy? Is it that scent? Think about it, especially if you've been with that individual for a while. Just think about it for just a second. That person just goes on like vacation and goes to visit relatives out of state. What is it about your scent that allows that makes a woman want to curl up in your blanket or bring your pillow closer? Maybe an article of clothing. Is it the perfume, the body spray, something that reminds that individual of you? You see, it's that same thing when you're dealing with herbs in herbalism, not just alchemy. Alchemy is just the process of combining these ingredients. Okay? And this is the best, easiest way that I can dumb it down for you. Okay? The procedure is not easy. It is one that takes time. Time to master, time to implement. It's not something where you just hit an easy button or you snap your fingers and it's there. When you put these items together and you have that proper mixture, either in an oleum, which is an oil based substance that you can put in a divination bowl or a scrying bowl. Okay, you can put it into a burn pot. Okay, and light it like alcohol. Okay, alcohol. Certain deities love alcohol. Santa Muerte, Saint Death, loves Mexican tequila. Okay, rum if you're dealing with Dambella or Baron Samedi, Papa Nabo even, the Loa of Death, you know, even Anubis has his own wine that he likes. I've recently come into an understanding that Zazazel, Zazazel, the buried king, loves tequila, loves rum. And it's amazing that so many deities of death enjoy alcohol. You look at pagan and Wiccan practices, they don't just give wine, but they also lay out cakes, foods for these beings that they deal with. It's a way of them saying thank you. In this case, as a dark sorcerer, as a black magician, you're utilizing these items to create a link through evocation or invocation. It's like dealing with crushed bone to mask your face, to place on the death masks, the consecration of your altars. Even blood sorcery through chiromancy or necromantic practices is there. All of this combined brings to the table an intent. It puts you into that visual relaxation. It puts you into that alpha frame of mind where you're relaxed. You're ready to receive whatever comes forth. These are tools. They are items that you, as the practitioner, can utilize. You look at Hellbane, Hellbore, Yarrow, White Oriolander. You look at Hemlock. All things of death, right? But small amounts of them mixed in for a certain ingredient can be mixed in with incense, oleums, even things that will attract your chosen deitas that you wish to commune with. But you have to understand who they are, how to attract them, what do they like. You can go through all the grimoires. You can go through all the herbs and herbalism out there from Scott Cunningham to Paul Huzon. Even one of the greats who recently passed away about 3 years ago, Raymond Buckland. You can get into any system of magic and learn about herbs and oleums and purification baths and all this stuff. But you have to be the one to open yourself up to this stuff. You have to understand that no one can learn it but you. It's up to you to learn. It is up to you to evolve. Herbs can be made into oleums. They can be made into pastes. Things that allow you to wear them even in some cases, depending on the mixture, even ingest them within a safe dosage. Things like this has been used in necromancy. It's been used in shamanism. It has been used throughout the world for remedies of relaxation, but more so for premonitions, more so for evocations and invocations within magic. There's so much history, so much mythology that you have to learn. This is just some small little ingredients, just a few ingredients from a couple of different sources that allow you to prosper within your chosen craft. But instead of learning this, you jump from one forum to another asking the same question. Have you ever heard the term or the expression, when you don't know which way to go, sometimes it's best to stay put. Do nothing. It's like if you go out into the wilderness and you get turned around. After 24 hours, they're going to send out a search party for you. If you keep moving around, they're not going to find you. But yet, if you learn to be patient, to learn the signs, the omens, even, such as moss, pea moss, even. You take moss, it grows on the north side of the tree. So therefore, you know where the north is. Certain things like tree frogs, toads, pufferfish, and other ingredients can be brought forth to utilize in rituals of zombification, zombieism. Again, you're learning. Again, you're being told. Again, you're being led like a child. Or in this case, lambs to the slaughter. And we can speak until we're blue in the face, but we know you're not going to learn unless you truly want to pick up a book and learn. Get under Google, type in the herbs that you're looking for. How can you identify them? Where can you find them? I can't tell you how many videos I've done talk between the Dark Sorcery channel and here and other Facebook groups and my own YouTube channel, describing certain herbs and plants that can be found in parks, playgrounds, and at your children's schools. You go out into the woods, or you go into the swamp area and you can find things like hemlock, wolfsbane, yarrow, things that could be grown in gardens, mint, even, and the applications of mint. You see, herbs and herbalism don't just play an effect or a part in everyday life for you to continue to live a better life in a magical formulation. You can put these literally to work within your rituals if you learn alchemy. E.A. Koetting has constantly spoken of black alchemy, of Belial, and numerous other beings. Hell, even Azazel, the ancient darkness, taught alchemy from the book of Enoch. This is angelology, demonology, even. Taught mankind alchemy so that they could forge weapons, that they can forge shields, homes, tools that you're going to need in your life. taught women how to paint their faces in the art of seduction. So I ask you, are you willing to learn? Are you willing to stop moving and stay put? Are you willing to learn and evolve, mature within your chosen craft? No one else can do it for you but you and you alone. And I can't tell you how many times I've said this in past videos. The only one who is in charge of you is you alone. You cannot please everybody. You cannot teach everybody. It is physically impossible. You can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make them drink. A man who does not learn from history is doomed to repeat it. Do you want to be a wolf walking amongst sheep, ruling the sheep? Or do you want to be that sheep being led to the slaughter, serving on your knees, being given scraps? Think about the old proverb. Just think about that one little proverb. Give a man a fish, feeds him for a day. Teach a man how to fish, feeds him for life. Which one do you prefer? When you make that, when you decide for yourself, then you'll be ready to take that next step. Until then, you're going to be accepting scraps until you learn to do it yourself. The other question that was brought to my attention and continues to be brought up to me is it's more of a statement, really. It's not really a question. Please, sir, I want to join. I want to join you. Teach me. Teach me to be like you. This is more begging. It's like a child demanding something because they don't know what to do. They don't know where to begin. They haven't quite realized what they want, where they want to be, who they want to be. When somebody, I can't tell you how many people are on my messenger right now that simply come to me and say, hi. Nothing else, just hi. Or begging. Please, I want to be join. I wish to join. Or my all-time favorite. How do I be like you? Well, first of all, my reply to this is simple. Don't be like me. Be like you. Be you. Don't try to be like someone else. Because if you try to be like somebody else and you're doing it just to be like them, you might as well go back to your Christian masters and live on your knees like a slave, taking all those little tidbits that they toss your way every so often. Don't be like anyone else. Be who you are. Before you can be a sorcerer, before you can be a witch or a warlock, a mage or a sage, you have to learn the material. You have to figure out for yourself What do you want as an individual? You see, mastering yourself first will benefit you when you try to master the outside world. The JCI, specifically the Quran, speaks of 5 pillars. Witchcraft in general teaches about the 5 elements, the 5 cardinal directions. Ironic that the number 5 keeps coming up, don't you think? Think about it for just a minute. All the old cultures believed in 5 things, not just 7, but 5. Okay? 7's more complicated because you're getting into the 7 planets, the 7 archangels, the 7 colors, and such and such. So let's keep it simple. Let's talk about the 5. Mastering each thing: earth, air, fire, water, and spirit. Each one of these 5 pillars is something that you can master within yourself. Right here. Not out here, but right here. Learn to master yourself first. This is why I don't reply to these individuals, because they don't know what they want. They don't know who they are. They're just going with the flow because everybody else is doing it. It's that herd conformity of the world. When you hear the term black magic, dark sorcery even, people look at it and go, well, I want to be empowered too. I want to be this. I want to be that. Well, before you can run, you got to learn how to walk. And before you learn how to walk, you have to learn how to crawl. And before you learn how to crawl, you have to learn how to turn over. Do you see the steps here? The same thing applies on your self evolution, your self journey. This is not a sometime thing. This is not a part-time thing. It is a full-time dedication and commitment to the path working and the root working that you choose to align yourself with. But remember, just because you choose to align yourself with, say, the forces of darkness, the left-hand path, black magic even, doesn't make you protected. It just means you've chosen to align yourself with that current. When you start learning to evoke beings such as demons, Loa, the gods of the old world, through the use of the tools of the magician, then you can begin your journey, getting to know them as individuals. We all bring something to the table. But some don't want anything but chaos. They don't want to learn, they don't want to evolve. So they try to divert your attention. This is why all the old mages and sages locked themselves away for years at a time, simply to master the arts, the sciences behind alchemy, behind witchcraft, necromancy, chiromancy, divination practices. I did a video series a while back, a little while ago. It was based off witchcraft. Okay. And I believe I dubbed it sorcery, starting with witchcraft. then going into necromancy, then divination, and then finally possession. You see, these are the stages. This is what witchcraft has been broken down into in the worldly views. It is a way to dub it down so that you learn each categorization of sorcery. In some cases, you see a fifth element, to which I also discussed. Hell, even E.A. Koetting called that one. E.A. Koetting. Not joking. Look up his videos on how to become a living God. Look at Joseph Nunn, the day he threw away all his books, his occult books. I think that was the day that he really changed, really evolved into who he became today. One hell of a guy. Love Joseph Nunn's stuff. But you see the point. When you first start out, you have to learn how to crawl. You have to learn how to turn over before you learn to crawl. Think of it, think of sorcery and dealing with these powers, these beings, as a journey through life, through your growing up experience. Very interesting, to say the least. The identification, the acknowledgments, the unlocking of those gates, those doors within you, as you master yourself. And only once you master yourself can you fully turn your attention outward into the world and start mastering the world. That's the only way you're going to evolve into something more. Start with yourself. I'm not saying this to be cruel. I'm not saying this and treating you like a child. And let's face it, you are a child within the arts. You're new to the arts. You're a neophyte. And there's a period of what is known as a learning curve. Unfortunately, today, a lot of practitioners don't want to teach this learning curve. They don't want to get into depth. Others simply want to get paid for their time, their services, and for the tools that they've utilized to help train you. Welcome to the world of economy, the give and take that's been going on from the world to the sorcerers for hundreds of thousands of years. Those who could pay money paid. Those who could not traded for the service. You don't believe me? Good. Look it up for yourself. Not because I told you to, but because you want to learn. This is a learning curve. Start with history, mythology. Look at the different names. Break them down. What regions of the world were they practiced in? How far back does sorcery actually go? I've taken them back to the old names, the old ways. Lately, I've been tracing the roots of Leviathan. 30 years. 30 years, and I'm still learning because it's never stops. You constantly learn, you constantly grow. You, not me, you. You grow in your own way, just like I grow in my own way. You're going to make enemies. It's to be expected. You're not going to be happy. You're not going to make everybody happy. It's to be expected. Welcome to sorcery. People are going to fear you, but they're going to respect you, especially if you stand up for yourself and you know what you're talking about and you back it up. This is why it's good to know what you're talking about. Look at the hexa, Swedish, the agi in African, the strega in Italian. Modern day Welsh or English, you have witch. Scottish, warlock. Go into Anglo-Saxon and you see a different variation. You have the Arabic nations where you have the sage and the mage, even the wizard out of Welsh, the druid out of Gaelic traditions. You have the Scandinavian, Slavic, Baltic even. Every region of the world has their own myths, their own legends within sorcery, from names to practices. Look into it and see where it takes you. Hey, Alkalone. Glad you made it to the video. And with that said, have a good night or a good day.